Hey, foster mom. Hey, why is it 19 people in the bushes? Dang. Y'all don't love the girl. Okay, y'all don't love the kid. Am I Anaya voice? Y'all want to know what I'm finna say? I do have a public service announcement. Okay. Foster mom, I think you know what I'm finna say. You too, Miss Alice. Hi, Miss Alice. It's the same old thing I always say, y'all. I'm just making an official announcement. Hey, Bonnie. Okay. So, public service announcement, y'all. All right. I'm sure y'all so tired of hearing me say this. Okay. Y'all so tired of hearing me say this. But I'm gonna say it again. Okay. Nah, all jokes aside, y'all. I'm going on another YouTube break. I'm going on another break, y'all. But when I come back, I want to start my proverb series again. I've been thinking real hard about this. Okay. Real hard. And when I come back, I want to start my proverb series. KJ, you gotta be so loud. Say hi. Hi. He tired of y'all. He tired of me and y'all. But I think this time, y'all, I'm gonna be gone for a little longer than just a month. I'm talking about months on end. Like we gonna say maybe 3 to 4 months, 6 months to a year. Yes, baby. Hold on, y'all. Yes, KJ. But yeah, y'all, that's all I wanted. Girl, cover your mouth. Woo child. Okay. But that's all I wanted. I just wanted to tell y'all that I'm going on another break. I have she said Creola, they might break with y'all, the people in the who? Janice in here? I don't see her. I don't see Janice. Hold on, let me. Yeah, Miss Janice. Hey, bums. I don't see her. Creola, they might break with y'all, the people. I don't know what that, because the way the stream, y'all, the new StreamYard sucks. It really does. But I want to start my proverb series again. Well, I'm not gonna say my. I'm gonna say the proverb series again. I wanna give it another go. There you go. Hey, Janice. Why I can't see you? But I want to give the proverbs another chance. Well, what I'm trying to say is I want to give it another chance on the internet. Okay, because when I first started out, y'all, I really didn't feel it. I was just so overwhelmed and so like, in self-doubt and all that extra stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I want to give it another go because I had a dream. Y'all remember the flowers and the jewelry? I mean, not the flowers, but the leaves and the jewelry. I literally like dreamt of that. Like, it was almost like it was a vision. And when I was looking for something, to change, my background and stuff, to give y'all something different to look at so it wouldn't be like a everyday live of Vons, I literally saw that. So it's kind of been on my heart and mind. You enjoyed the Proverbs series, Foster Mom? I it's been on my heart and mind that I didn't go a full 31 days like I, had said I would. And it's like, But at the time, y'all, if I'm being, transparent and honest, okay, I didn't feel like I could do it, and live by it and not be a hypocrite. I was kind of going through some things, and I'm still going through things, but I have a different outlook on what self care looks like for me. I think I have the ability to be transparent in a way that helps other people relate, not just to me, but to relate to, having troubles, spiritual troubles, daily challenges. And I really believe that the Proverbs series is something that I should have kept doing, even when I was going through. So I'm going to come back and give it another chance, y'all. So, y'all not going to see me on this here YouTube, okay, for a while. All right. I kind of told some people this behind. KJ, you so loud. Can you relax with your toys? Y'all, he got a stuffed elephant. He has a stuffed dog. Okay, I love stuffed animals, so I think he gets it from me. But yeah. So yes, yes, son, yes, honey. But yes, that's my public service announcement. Okay. Yes, KJ. Okay, y'all, I'm back. But yes, she said, "When are you leaving?" Today. I'm leaving today. I am. I'm leaving today. You know, I was actually supposed to really like take leave when the summer came again, but I think it's best I do it now because, I got, some stuff I'm kind of moving around. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and make my announcement now. That way I don't have to wait, until, I mean, because this May is around the corner. We got like a week and what, 5 days left in April. And, when May comes, y'all know my daughter is going to sixth grade. So I got graduation, you know what I'm saying? Then her birthday's coming up. And then the summer is going to be like right here in our faces. And I am not spending my summer online. Okay. I'm not spending my summer listening to that lady over there. All right. And I feel like it's real easy to get caught up in something else, with people that like you know. Y'all, oh snap. I didn't mean to do that. I don't know what just happened. Okay, hold on. Uh-oh, hold on. And hold on, y'all. Yes, KJ, what do you want? I know you looking at me. I'm looking at you too. We looking at each other. Do you want me to get off the line? No. And you got your Spider-Man with his ugly self. Not ugly. He not ugly? No. Spider-Man. Huh? Spider-Man is not ugly. He not ugly? Spider-Man is not ugly. Okay. Well, KJ says Spider-Man ain't ugly, but listen, y'all. Um, yeah, I feel like it's real easy to get caught up, in some extra stuff, and I'm gonna just say this: I see that people are trying to pull me back into a mindset, a headspace that I just don't care for it anymore. And I told somebody the other day, y'all, when I was on the panel somewhere and we was talking about, being people that come from other communities. And I told him to run. I said, run. And I was so serious, right? And I think it's just best I take my own advice because I can't if you saw my live last night in the middle of the night, I'm not lying. I was up in the middle of the night last night. And even though my whole live wasn't about, the lady over there, it still was addressing mess. Okay. You know, I may not be dragging people and hooping and hollering and screaming at folks, y'all. But I also don't care for none of that energy. You know what I'm saying? I don't even care for the energy of going live and addressing anything anymore, y'all. It's just like I'm so unattached. And have you ever had a conversation that was about drama and you just kind of felt drained just a little bit? That's how I felt last night on my live. I'm like, so I started talking about other things because it's like I don't even want to talk about this. Like if I'm just being honest, y'all, I didn't want to come live and even talk about that, but you know, I had my dates mixed up. But it's like, who cares that I had my dates mixed? You know what I'm saying? I just be kind of thinking. Mommy, here's a field trip slip. I already signed this. No, that's a. Okay. But, oh, okay, I see it now. And see, look, I got field trips and stuff coming up, y'all. Y'all know how many permission slips I didn't sign for like 12 different uh trips. Okay. They having all this end of the year stuff coming up, and I'm over here like, huh? Like I got all this stuff coming up, okay? KJ starts school this summer, y'all. I'm finna start a whole new chapter in my life of not being a mom with any kids in the house. And y'all, I just feel like, God is moving me out the way. Hey, Miss Annette, you coming in here being nice? She said, hello, Vons in chat. Just tune in and heard you are going on your spiritual journey. No, that I didn't say that. I said I was leaving. Okay, and when I came back, my intent is to start the proverb series. Okay, we know because if I come back, all right, and I say anything other than proverbs, it's gonna be said. She said she was going on another spiritual journey. Y'all see. But no, all jokes aside, thank you, Miss Annette. Thank you, Miss Annette. And you know what? I read your comment, okay? I read your comment, about narcissism, and I chewed on it. I chewed on it in a way that actually benefited me. I'm not going to lie because um I've admitted, okay, to being in therapy and recognizing some narcissism. I'm not ashamed of that, okay? And so, in reading your comment, I decided to tell someone, that even though we don't like each other and that, they get on my nerves, that I did love them. So, all right, even though I don't always agree with everything you say, I read your comment that was, from you to me, for my eyes to see, and I chewed on it. And I say, you know what? I do be letting my narcissism kick in sometimes, okay? And what I'll do is because my feelings is hurt, I will ignore the fact that I do somewhat still care about certain people. And then I be out here showing out because I don't want to show that my feelings is See y'all see what happens. You know, my phone get to going off, folks get to calling me. But anyway, I said, you know what? I do that a lot. I shut down and I put up walls. And I'm not saying that it's not okay for me to do that with certain people and certain things. But, you know, a part of the whole spiritual journey is to walk in the spirit and not in the flesh. So I took what you said and I applied it where it needed to be applied. And I said, you know what? You know, I'm not gonna let that demon, okay, of mine that, you know, I didn't work real hard to get rid of, you know, start creeping back up on me. So, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. But um, cause yeah, I'm just gonna say that. Cause if I'm gonna say this, if I felt like you was just crazy and picking on me, I wouldn't have chewed on it. But I chewed on it because I know something that you said was somewhat true. And I was like, you know what? I'm not the best problem solver all the time. In fact, when I'm mad, I'm mad. I don't be caring about how nobody else feels. I don't even be caring. Okay? But I'm supposed to not be, acting that way towards people, but it's easier said than done. So I appreciate the reminder, okay? That my attitude, is not always in the right. But anyway, y'all. Yeah, so when I come back, I'm gonna start the Proverbs series. Um and we just gonna go from there, okay? I've talked a lot about, coming back and camming up, and I want to do that too. But I just need a little time to get my head in the right, get my head in the right headspace, and make sure that when I come on here, I'm giving the best of me, without all the noise and stuff. Because I do believe in timing, and I also do believe that sometimes, when you want to do something, it's just not the right time. And I feel like, when I was doing my Proverbs here, it wasn't the right time. It just wasn't. It was a good idea, but it wasn't the right time. So you sleeping right here. You sleeping right here. Open the door. So I'm gonna go, y'all, cause y'all here. Everybody wants to, be where I'm at and be loud and extra. Good morning. But what y'all talking about? I hope. What you say? All is well. Thanks, and I hope all is well with you. Oh, okay. Y'all being nice to each other. Okay, okay. All right, y'all. But I ain't got nothing else to say. All right. I was, like I said, I had plans on doing this once the summer actually hit. Making my public service announcement. But I was like, I'm ready to go now. I really am. And I didn't just got to a point where it's like, you just got to rip the band-aid off, and because you just can't have it both. You just can't have certain things both ways. You just can't. And I've matured in some ways, but not responding at all is like my real problem, and I just want to walk away from all of the things that are trying to keep me in a space that I'm just no longer in. I'm just no longer there. Like, do it be funny? Yeah, but you know, I just want to get back to a place where I don't even respond at all. Okay. She said, never gonna pick on you. I always give you helpful advice. The older, wise women should share what's helpful. Right, 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 right. Right. I be feeling like all y'all be picking on me sometimes, but no. So some of y'all, I'm not gonna say all y'all, because some of y'all are just mean and hateful and don't like me, and y'all just say anything. But like I said, I chewed on it. I did. I read. I think I read it like 3 times. Cause I was gonna go live and be like, "Who you calling a nar?" And I was like, "She ain't said that." You see, sometimes and this is what I'm talking about. Like, I haven't been in that energy where I just want to jump out and yell at people. But I've been feeling that energy, coming back my way. Like for real. And it's been like weird. Let me not say weird. It's a strong pull to lose my head and act a fool on here just one more time. And I'm like, no, that's the enemy trying to steal my blessings. That's him trying to come in and stop my progress. That's me wanting to take things into my own hands again. And it's like, no, 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 no. I gave all of this stuff up. And, it's only a matter of time before I'm back out here screaming and hollering and yelling. I don't think you can keep your peace in a space where there's so much negative energy. I think that's suicidal. I think it's a death trap. And I'm not talking about like physically, I'm talking about spiritually, mentally, emotionally. If you live in a house with somebody that every time they walk in the door, they're angry, they're mad, they're yelling at you, and you trying to work on yourself, and you trying to do better, but every time you look up this person or people, it's like if you go to work and you in a good mood, and when you get to work, them co-workers, it's like you can ignore it. You can ignore it, but after a year or years of that, you kind of, you can't thrive in unhealthy energy. That's why people change jobs. That's why they move. That's why they divorce. That's why, they distance themselves from people. And I'm not saying that anybody, is pulling, like anybody that I talk to personally is pulling me into anything. I'm telling y'all, it's all me. What I'm consuming again, oh, let me just go listen to for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I, no, I have to be accountable for Vaughn. And, I give a lot of wise advice. I give great advice to people in my real life. I'm begging, you know, somebody to, open their eyes and see something that's harming them. But it's like, am I taking that advice for myself in all areas in my life or just in certain places? Why do I think I can handle this over here, you know, when, God is showing me that I can't or that I shouldn't? You know what I'm saying? And it's not that I can't. You know what? No, because no. See, I can't handle it. You want to know why I can't handle it? Because it's not something I even want in my hands. It's not something I want to deal with. You know, cover your mouth, babe. You know, I don't like being mad. You know what I'm saying? And that's something I learned all on my own with God, going to church, listening to meditation, practicing, meditate. I don't like I don't like the energy. I don't like it. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Now I ain't gonna act like I don't talk a little shit, but it's like, I kind of want to get to a place where I don't even do that. I just ignore bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, just be done with it. She said, yeah, in that case, maybe it's time yeah, give YouTube up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's plenty of other types of content out here, plenty of other, people to, hang out with. I ain't gotta hang out with people that's always looking for a fight. Cause I'm not always looking for a fight. I don't, I really like to have fun. I like to be cool. I like to enjoy life. I ain't gonna act like certain things don't bother me, but the things that bother me are worth, being bothered about. And at least I can come up with a solution. At least it can be fixed. But I don't like being in places where things just cannot be fixed. I don't like that. And I'm not talking about being friends. I'm literally talking about just peace. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't knocking nobody, who like the extra stuff, because hey, I like it too. I do. But not enough to come live and give people a piece of my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have to do that live yesterday on Miss Virginia, y'all, but I I literally worked myself up to do it. Just I did. I didn't have and I didn't even cuss the lady out, y'all. I did it. I didn't cuss her out. I more so had a bunch of stuff to say about the other lady. But it's like, I don't feel like it was necessary because I could have just kept it on my community wall. But you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. It's like I'm gonna just say this. If you've ever had whatever issue, okay, you knew every time you turned on the TV it made you lazy. Okay, so you stopped watching TV for a while so you could, stop sitting around the house and stuff. But then you start watching, you binge watch a show one night. And then after that, you recognize that you starting to watch TV more. It's like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. It's creeping back up. I'm binge watching more shows. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting back lazy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, you sometimes we just got to be honest with ourselves and recognize what is um stagnating our growth. Okay. She said tall glass of coffee with macchiato creamer. Yum. Man, Janice, I love iced coffee, but I can't have it because of the caffeine. What you say, Foster Mom? She said, I don't think YouTube is worth the spiritual battle. You are on a journey and not yet quite planted. Exactly, Foster. Exactly. Exactly. You know, and I just think, me, coming outside and addressing stuff is stagnating my growth. You know what I'm saying? I really do believe that. I believe it's stagnating my growth. And I feel like before I know it, I'm going to be full throttle, 10 toes down here, cussing folks out, giving them a piece of my mind, and robbing myself of peace. And it's not worth it because I've already been there. I've already been there. And I think I've been doing really good. And I hear y'all, when y'all make jokes like, Vi, we know you want to come outside. And it's like, man, everybody see it. So it's like, you know, warning comes before destruction. And I just don't want to go back to that dirty, trifling place of a social media person. Because that's how I feel about it. And that's how I felt about myself, that I was really just, at my lowest in mentality, at my lowest spiritually. She said, yep, I think so too. If I be, yeah, it's only a matter of time before I just be, you know, and I'm going to have fun doing it, y'all. I'm not going to act like, I didn't like it, but it's like, I feel like it's almost like a drunk and alcohol. It's like, oh, I could just have a little sip, but then you want to take the whole bottle. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's like I can't be in church, hearing, stop giving the devil a foothold. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to stop giving him a foothold over here, but, not cut it off. You know what I'm saying? And I'm really not just talking about YouTube, y'all. I really want to quit smoking. I really want to quit smoking. I want to quit smoking so bad. I almost cried about it, when I was talking about it with somebody. And I recognize that, you know, it's something I want, but I'm not really trying to cut stress out or learn how to manage stressful things. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I just kind of realized, like, it's not going to happen if I don't take control over some things in my life that bring me stress and make me want to, light up a square. You know what I'm saying? I can't blame, oh, this is so hard. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you really want to do better, you got to be honest with yourself. And it's not pretty at all. It's very ugly. You know what I'm saying? And I got to be honest with y'all. When I started this whole spiritual journey stuff and being a better person, I had no idea it was going to get this deep. I thought it was going to be easy. It's like you just wake up and be like, I'm just going to stop doing all this stuff that makes me a bad person, but it's really harder than what like it's a lot of work, a lot of inner work. It's a lot of inner work. And you really don't need no distractions. And I love distractions, y'all. I distract myself with TV, you know, celebrity business, whatever, going outside, whatever. Okay. Whatever. I'll hide and say, oh, that's not even a big of a deal. Then it'll show up somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? All right, y'all, I'm gonna go because my kids are so loud. She said, stop stressing because it will hurt your health. And then you will be fighting alone to get your strength back, not worth the pain. Janice, I want to tell you something, but I'm not. She said, I see you getting pulled back and the mix showed up. Yeah. But that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. I love y'all. And I won't see y'all. I do love y'all though. But it's just not working. So this ain't no sad long goodbye or nothing like that. But just know if you don't see me, okay, it's because I really gotta cut out all the distractions. And I was doing really, really good, y'all. And I don't want to get caught back up again. The devil be busy, okay, real busy. And I be helping them. I be helping them. And it's like I ain't finna help you, okay? I love you too, Miss Alice. I love you too, Miss Alice. But I love y'all, and I'm gonna go back to watching these kids. Y'all, I'm literally just watching them play. I don't have the TV on. Um, I'm just watching them play and scrolling on social media. I'm finna make some tacos though because um we hungry. So I might make nachos and tacos. Let me tell you something. As long as I got chips and tortilla shells, you can't tell me nothing. We gonna eat, okay? Like, y'all know how it be like either or tacos, nachos, quesadillas. I will make them all. Okay, and everybody just take their pick of what they want. But all right, y'all. I'm gone. I'm out. Hit the thumbs up. And when I come back, like I said, it's gonna be a long time, y'all, like a really, really long time. I'm gonna start the Proverbs series again. And it'll be fun. Because I have some ideas or whatever. And I would like for people to hit the link and stuff and like we all, kick it. But if it happened that way, it happened. But I have some ideas for the Proverbs series. She said YouTube ain't worth it. Honestly, I was yelling at somebody. I hate the heaviness of the negativity that I've been feeling. I have to find balance and I will be gone soon. Yeah, like when you're just not like a real hateful person and you see people doing hateful things to you, and don't get me wrong, it be fun. But Miss Tawana, you see, I'm gonna say this. I ain't never seen you come outside and just lose your top the way some of us be doing. But I don't want to see you do that either. You know what I'm saying? And I will say this. I know some people are just stuck. That's just who they are, what they gonna do, who they gonna be. And it's like, mm-mm. She said, pull back in a minute. You showed up. Yeah, Yeah, You driving? Okay. All right, Janice. Look, I love y'all. All right, I love you. Love you, foster mom. Love you, Miss Alice. Love you, Janice. Who else came in here? I think it was just Miss Annette. Miss Annette said she going to go eat some bums, Vonnie. Yeah, I see y'all. And if you hit the replay, um, yeah. All right. But deuces, y'all. I'm going. Y'all say bye. Say bye. All right, y'all. Bye.